You're listening to Real People's Media. If you don't know who we are, you will soon.
Yeah, well, they basically wanted to know what it is that we were asking of them. What is it that you're asking of the Longhouse? It's political, just like everything else. Do you agree that this is a medicine? Question number one. Do you agree that this is our medicine? Would be question number two. That being said, question number three is, if you agree that this is medicine, and you agree that this is our medicine, based on who we are as a people, our laws, constitution, way of life, states, and this comes from the way I've been raised, and I've never heard anything different from any other community. It doesn't matter. Even if the person that comes to your door is your worst enemy and asks you for medical help or medical attention, because we are a peaceful people, you give that to the person asking, even if you don't like them, or even if it's your worst enemy. You help them today, and if you choose, you continue to fight with them tomorrow. Imagine the pride. Everything about that person they have to let go of, because if they're your worst enemy, you're most likely their worst enemy. So they've brought themselves down to a level, swallowed their pride, and still come to your door and ask you for help. If they can put everything aside to ask you for that help, our law says that you give it to them. You do not, and almost like being a Canadian citizen, it is not right to deny somebody health care at all. Worst enemy, friend, family, it don't matter who they are. You set your differences aside. You fix them for the better health, better quality of life, whatever it may be. And then, like you said, if you guys still have problems tomorrow, then you just can work that out tomorrow. But you don't stand there and watch somebody suffer, die, or whatever the case may be on your doorstep just because you don't like them. So, when I go back to that argument, and when I'm asking those people of that house, they raised me. They took me on all these trips. They made me the man, the father, the person that I am today. Are they going to sell me down the fucking river? Is basically my question. I am operating within the confines of my own law, constitution, way of life, and it boils down to who I am as a Mohawk Bear Clan male. That's literally what's on the table, and that's what I say. I have no problem being judged by the people in that longhouse. Those are my people. That is my governing body. Those are the people that raised me, educated me, taught me on how to conduct myself throughout my time here. I want to know, are they going to turn around and sell me down the river? Or would they rather me turn away my 500 patrons? Because not only are you denying me that, they're denying my 500 legitimate medical patients health.
And what was the mood in the room?
Well, there was a lot of confusion, and of course there was also a lot of personal opinions that were voiced. And that being said, the positive personal opinions, could be seen as positive. As, this is how it helped, this is how it alleviates, or this is how it's bettered my life, which is great. Unfortunately, the few bad things or bad opinions that I heard, I don't want to say that they're wrong. Those bad opinions come from being uneducated about the plant and the industry itself.
So you raised the issue, you were asked what it is that you wanted of the Longhouse, and you put forward a number of questions for people to consider within their clans. Mm-hmm. What happens next in the process?
So at the end of the meeting, I stood up, and my words to everybody were, basically, we can all agree that this is a medicine, and we can all agree that this is our medicine. I am not stating that I want to be able to just do whatever I want, because there does need to be regulations, stipulations, guidelines, whatever you want to call it, do have to be put in play so that not everybody is just doing whatever they want, free for all. That being said, I don't see, because of who I am, how I was raised, my choice of governing body, being the Longhouse people. I don't see it's right that Canada has the right to pass judgment on me, nor does MBQ or the chief of police, being entities of that foreign government. They call themselves Indians, but just because you have the same skin color as me does not make you an Indian. As far as Chief Ron, at an early age, he chose to not follow our ways, not learn our language, not be educated in our culture. He decided to learn their ways, learn their culture. And in the end, he decided to uphold that foreign way of life, uphold their law. He became a police officer. So the other day when we were having the meeting, that's why he doesn't understand why. He's like, well, why is it you and I? Why is it you and I? Why isn't it us? We don't see him as part of us. He left. He left who we were as a people, and he decided to live white, to be educated white, to raise his children like white people, and to uphold that white person's law and way of life. So no, he is not the same as us. He is not one of us. He coincidentally wears the same coat, being the red skin. But based on every choice he's made in his life, he has chose to segregate himself from who we are as a people. That's why he can't understand this. So at the end, what I said was, what I'm looking for is, if they can agree to those three things, that yes, this is our medicine, yes, we have a right to this medicine, and that yes, what you were taught your entire life, what we've taught you, how we raised you, and the man or father that we've created was based on truth and total belief in what they were teaching me. And what they taught me was to provide medicine to anyone who asked, and it was going against my way of life and constitution if I turned them away. So I need them to own that. Even for my personal identity, I need them to own what they've been saying for the last 30 years. Take it by the horns. If they want to create as a traditional body rules, regulations, and a process for distribution, I'll gladly follow those rules. That being said, if they make an agreement or they come to the conclusion that not at this time, I'll take the open sign down and I'll take my store sign down. If those people still come to my door and knock on the door, I will not turn them away. That is questioning me as a person, who I am, my way of life, my culture, my constitution. Nobody has that right.
Was there any discussion about the economic basis of the industry, or of the multiple ways that hemp can be used, not just as a medicine, but as, building material or fiber or any of these things?
Those are all topics that would come for after the fact. They have to come to this conclusion first before they will discuss anything else further. And unfortunately, even in our traditional body, because of their age and the fact that they grew up in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, their entire life they've been educated wrong about this plant. They've been lied to. They've been cheated out of a good health. I don't understand why they're not offended by that. Over 60% of that generation has cancer. And now they're offended that places like myself open up, try to make you better, try to heal you, try to alleviate them pains, try to educate you in this plant, try to educate you on what you've been lied to for the last 50 years. I'd say if the Longhouse decides to pick this up, it'll be a fresh start with everything. They would first have to come up with rules and regulations, then they would have to find out that whatever stores plan on jumping aboard or agreeing with that, and then you're going to have to follow those rules and regulations, and then I would have to assume that your business would then be sanctioned by the Longhouse. Any business that's not sanctioned by the Longhouse, if they're the ones that are going to pick this up, they're going to have to close their doors. And in closing their doors means that they're not willing to follow the proposed guidelines, I guess you would say. It's not that people want to make it complicated. And the problem is everybody gets confused in their head, and it doesn't have to be that complicated. I mean, like you said, even just the way we operate here. So you have to be 19 years. They could implement a system where you had to be 19 years old. That being said, so you can implement an age. Considering I'm in this for medicinal reasons, I'm perfectly fine with saying, in which I do already, bring me a note from your doctor or a prescription or an existing medical card, and we'll provide you with this service. Yes, it's our medicine. If your doctor signs off stating that he's okay or he sees that our medicine is more beneficial than what they have to offer, I'm going to help you. That's all there is to it. If they come up with a card themselves, any person that would walk through my door, the minute they give me, say, like you said, whether it be the KCA card, here, if they have that card, they've obviously proved to the Longhouse, the clan mothers, or the association itself, for one, they're of age, two, they have a medical reason, and three, the doctor or somebody, or whether it be pro-choice, has decided to go this route. And if they can get those three qualifications, they can get themselves a card. Now, if they have a KCA card, that should allow them to use any of the medicinal facilities that are here in Tyendinaga. If you can't acquire that card, sorry, we can't help you. It's some of the answers are so simple, but people want to make them way more complicated than they really have to be. Like you said, rules, regulations, safety. You could implement a half a dozen rules and regulations and literally make this safe all the way across the board. Look at your product has to be regulated and tested. Certain ages, doctors, when you go through it, there's almost no room for error. And even if there is a small error, it is a completely harmless plant. Like I said in that house tonight, you're going to tell me that I don't feel that? I lost my mother 5 years ago to cancer. My wife at this very moment has brain cancer. You can tell me that I'm doing this just for the dollar? No. If I'm going to stand there and tell you that even if you tell me I can't, I'll still do it, there should be your answer. It has nothing to do with the money. It's about me as a person, my morals, who I am, my way of life. And I don't care whether it's Ron the cop, whether it's the Pope, whether it's Jesus Christ, or whether it's the President of the United States. If you knock on my door and tell me you're sick, I'll do my best to make you better. If you bring me one of your family members, whether it be your mother, father, daughter, I don't really care. I will do my best so that you or the person that you brought me doesn't have to suffer. Whether it be at your cost, my cost, an agreed cost, or somewhere in the middle. I will not turn that person away.
What will be your reaction if outside policing agencies come to your store and demand that you shut down your operations because you're quote-unquote illegal?
Fine, like I said, outside agencies, that probably won't happen. MBQ, it probably won't happen. And that's why we've taken it to the people, to the Longhouse. And like I said, the people that have raised us, that have made us. And if those women say that that's what's better, then like I told them tonight, if you deem this or think that this is such a bad thing, I'll close my doors. But they have to realize it goes against everything that they've told me, taught me in the last 40 years. If they can't back or stand behind the generation of people that they've created. I am this way, I think this way, and I live this way because that's the way that those women taught me how to be. And if they're going to question it or turn their back on me at this point, like I said, I don't know. I would have to re-question everything at 40 years of age.
But you don't realistically think that's going to happen based on the opinions that were shared at the meeting today, do you?
I think there's going to be changes. I think some of the store owners won't be happy. I think there's a possibility that the women do agree with this, that they do jump on board, and there's a possibility that if that happens, they will come out with rules and regulations. Unfortunately, I don't have a pipe dream that all 12 stores will fit within those. So even the people that were there and agreed and even left it up to the women to decide, realize that they basically all just threw their name into a hat. Because when they come out with the rules and regulations, that's basically what we've done. We've said, here, if you're willing to take this, take it up, create rules and regulations, then as store owners, we have all agreed to either follow your rules and regulations or close our doors. Like I said, when it comes to our people, our governance, our way of life, and the Longhouse, if they tell us to close, we'll close. As far as the Canadian government, a foreign government, or the OPP, a foreign entity of that government, no. They do not have the right to question who we are, how we live, in our own home, in our own territory. That is cultural genocide.
I think the one of the key issues for the outside government is, well, what's going to happen if these Mohawks get a booming cannabis industry or hemp industry and suddenly have this wealth and resources? That's going to affect your ability to put forward your own people's agenda.
I can see where they worry, because if you think about the cigarette boom, when the cigarette boom hit, we were losing our culture, we were losing our language, we were losing our natural ways of life. What bugs them is that the minute we make money off the outside society, we're not a greedy people, so we put that right back into our communities. People make millions. They turn around, they give the millions back to the community. And you say, well, why would they do that? Well, what do you mean? You do that for the purpose of, well, look it's 20 years later. We have 3 different places where you can learn the language. There's a Longhouse here, and we are daily getting back language speakers. Our culture, way of life, language, and everything about who we are went drastically downhill up until then. And then when we gained that income, we used that income to actually rebuild who we are. And so there's been millions of cigarette dollars put back in to our children to learn their ways, to learn their cultures, to learn their songs, to learn their language. Our language, culture, and who we are as a people today, you could easily say, is 10 times better than it was in the 90s. And you can guarantee that a lot of cigarette money was put into re-educating those children. We took the money back off the white man and used it to re-educate our children with the education that they stole from them to begin with. We used our resources and their money to rebuild what we had lost. That's just smart business, as far as I'm concerned.